All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of emotional competency. You mentioned wanting to get better personal development in relationships. This is it. This is like the cheat code,
Yeah.
our map for this journey, with some super insightful stuff from Wikiversity. Have you ever heard of it?
Absolutely. It's this online platform where people can collaborate and share knowledge. Kind of fitting, right? Emotional competency is all about understanding ourselves and how we connect with
Yeah,
others.
exactly. It's like this whole hidden language we all speak,
Yeah.
but nobody ever really gave us the handbook for, you know? And to think all this time I thought being good with people just meant remembering birthdays and favorite ice cream flavors. Turns out there's a whole lot more to it.
You're definitely onto something there. It's not just about surface level stuff. It's about tuning into those deeper currents of emotions, both our own and the people around us.
Okay, so let's get specific. What does it actually mean to be emotionally competent? I feel like I hear that term everywhere, but what's the Wikiversity take on it?
They define it as the skill to recognize, interpret, and respond constructively to emotions in yourself and others.
Mm.
And the key here is that it's all three parts, not just
Ooh,
one.
okay, unpack that a little.
No,
Why all three?
Yeah.
What happens if we say only nail one or two of those?
Well, imagine you're a detective at a crime scene, right? Recognizing the emotion is like spotting the clues, a footprint, a broken vase, whatever it might be. Interpreting the emotion is where you put on your detective hat and figure out what those clues mean. Was it a robbery gone wrong, a lover's quarrel? And then the responding constructively part. That's where you actually solve the case.
Wait, I'm loving this detective analogy. So are you saying if I get good at this whole emotional competency thing, I basically become Sherlock Holmes of the heart? Sign me up.
Well, maybe not Sherlock Holmes, but you definitely get better at understanding the mysteries of human behavior, both your own and the people you interact with every day. And that, my friend, can be a game changer in so many ways.
All right, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. So let's talk about those so many ways. The Wikiversity article mentioned some pretty compelling benefits, right? Like deeper relationships, less stress, feeling more confident. I mean, who wouldn't want a piece of that action?
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is, those benefits are directly tied to those three skills we were just talking about: recognizing, interpreting, and responding. Because when you start understanding your emotions better, it's like a light bulb goes off. Suddenly, you can see those patterns in your own behavior. And even more interestingly, you start to recognize those same patterns in other people.
So it's not just about me, myself, and I. It helps me understand other people too.
Absolutely. Think about it like this. Have you ever gotten frustrated when someone reacted in a way that you totally didn't expect? Like maybe a coworker totally overreacted to something you said.
Oh, tell me about it. Just last week, I told Mark from accounting that his tie was bold, and he just clammed up. He didn't say another word to me all day. I thought I was just, offering some lighthearted fashion commentary.
Well, in that moment, Mark might have been feeling insecure about his choice. Or maybe he was having a stressful day already. When you understand the emotions that might be driving their behavior, it's easier to have empathy and respond in a way that builds bridges instead of burning them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I definitely would have approached things differently if I had that emotional intel. So how do we actually get better at this? Does Wikiversity have like a crash course in emotional decoding or something?
I wish it were that easy. But they do give us a helpful equation to illustrate the process. It's passion, reason, constructive action.
Passion plus reason. You know me, I'm all about little passion in life, but how does that factor into emotional competency?
Well, passion in this context refers to those raw, sometimes messy emotions we all experience. It acknowledges that those feelings are powerful. They provide valuable information about ourselves and our needs.
So it's not about ignoring our emotions or pretending they don't exist.
Exactly. That's where reason comes in. Emotional competency isn't about being ruled by our emotions, but about learning to understand and interpret them. It's like we can acknowledge that a situation makes us angry without letting that anger dictate our actions.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Mm.
So it's about finding that balance between acknowledging the passion, the raw emotion, and then using our reason, our thinking brains to figure out the best way to respond.
You got it. And that's how we arrive at constructive action. It's about combining emotional awareness with thoughtful choices.
This whole equation reminds me of this one time. Okay, so picture this. I'm at the grocery store. It's been a long day, and they're all out of my favorite frozen pizza.
Oh no, the frozen pizza tragedy. I can already tell this is going to be good.
Right. So there I am, standing in the freezer aisle, and I can feel the passion, rising frustration, disappointment, maybe even a little bit of hanger setting in.
Totally relatable. What happened next?
Well, if I'm being honest, my usual MO would be to just grab whatever pizza was left. even if it had pineapple on it. But this time, I remembered the reason part of the equation. I took a deep breath, reminded myself that the world wasn't ending, and decided to try a new recipe with fresh ingredients instead.
Wow, that's amazing. And look at that. You engaged in constructive action. You turned a potentially frustrating situation into an opportunity to try something new and maybe even discover a new favorite meal.
I know, right?
Uh,
I'm still working on mastering this whole emotional competency thing,
yeah.
but that little victory in the frozen food aisle gave me a taste of what's possible. And speaking of taste, the Wikiversity article wasn't just all equations and definitions. It also had some seriously quotable moments.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just informative, it was inspiring. Like it wanted to awaken this new awareness within us.
Yes. There's this one line that really resonated with me. Emotions are colorful, dramatic, fascinating, and essential dimensions of every person's experience. It's like, yeah, emotions can be messy, but they're also what makes us human, right?
Exactly. Imagine a world without those highs and lows, without the pangs of heartbreak or the soaring joy of achievement. Pretty bleak, right?
Totally. And you know what else? This article actually helped me appreciate those messy emotions instead of just trying to wish them away, like in this other line.
Mm.
But passion has logic. Emotions obey their own peculiar rules that we can study, understand, listen to, learn from, master, and even enjoy.
Hmm.
That's pretty empowering, don't you think?
It really is. It reminds us that we're not at the mercy of our emotions. We can become students of our inner world, deciphering those peculiar rules and using that knowledge to navigate our lives more effectively.
Instead of just being tossed around like a dinghy in a hurricane. This is making me think about how I reacted to a situation at work recently. Tell me about it. Work stuff can really test your emotional limits sometimes, but it sounds like the Wikiversity article is giving you some new perspective on things.
It really is. Like, it's given me this whole new toolkit for understanding not just my emotions, but the emotions of the people I work with, which, let's be honest, can be a recipe for disaster if you're not careful.
Okay, spill the tea. What kind of work drama has you putting those emotional competency skills to the test?
Well, recently a project I was leading hit a major roadblock. We're talking missed deadlines, technical difficulties, the whole nine yards. I really felt this wave of frustration and anxiety just wash over me. I mean, I'm usually a pretty even-keeled person, but in that moment, I could feel myself getting ready to unleash the Kraken.
Oh, I've been there. That pressure to fix everything and make it all work out can be intense. So what did you do? How did you stop yourself from going full-on Kraken mode?
Well, instead of firing off a strongly worded email or calling an emergency meeting, I decided to take a step back. I reminded myself of that passion, reason, constructive action equation from the Wikiversity article. I took some deep breaths, let myself feel the frustration without judgment, and then I started thinking about the most constructive way to address the situation.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What did constructive action look like in this situation?
So instead of pointing fingers or placing blame, I called a team meeting with a focus on collaboration and problem solving. We acknowledged the challenges we were facing, but I made sure to emphasize the team's skills and resilience. We actually ended up having a really productive conversation. We brainstormed solutions together, and ultimately we got the project back on track.
Wow. Talk about turning a potential disaster into a triumph. See, this is why I love deep diving into these topics. It's like we uncover these little nuggets of wisdom that can totally transform how we navigate the ups and downs of life.
Absolutely. And the Wikiversity article didn't just give us this awesome theoretical framework. It also had some fantastic resources for taking a deeper dive into this whole world of emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Yes. They had a great list of recommended reading, and I know we can't cover it all today, but there are two books that really stood out to me. The first one was Passion and Reason, Making Sense of Our Emotions.
That book by Richard and Bernice Lazarus is a classic in the field. It really delves into the science behind our emotions and how they interact with our thoughts and behaviors. It's like taking a fascinating journey through the landscape of your own mind.
Right. And the second book that caught my eye was Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ by Daniel Goleman. I mean, that title alone is pretty thought-provoking.
It really is. You know, for a long time, we put so much emphasis on IQ as the ultimate measure of intelligence. But Goleman's book totally revolutionized the way we think about intelligence. It highlighted the critical importance of emotional intelligence in our personal and professional lives.
And let's be real, having a high IQ is great, but if you can't understand or manage your own emotions or effectively navigate relationships, it's not going to get you very far.
Exactly. Emotional intelligence is like the secret sauce that helps us unlock our full potential as human beings. It's about understanding ourselves, connecting with others on a deeper level, and creating more fulfilling and meaningful lives.
So for anyone listening who's ready to start developing their own emotional intelligence, those two books are a great place to begin. And remember, this is a journey, not a race. Start by paying attention to your own emotions, trying to understand the why behind them, and see if you can approach challenging situations with a little more reason and a lot more compassion, both for yourself and for others.
Beautifully said. And remember, every interaction, every challenge, every awkward encounter is an opportunity to learn and grow. Emotional competency is a lifelong practice, but the rewards are well worth the effort.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into emotional competency. It's been enlightening, to say the least. Big thanks to Wikiversity for providing such a wealth of information on this fascinating topic. And an even bigger thanks to YU, dear listener, for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.